Welcome to this episode. We've already prepped, now we're going to pick. So this episode is about our 2024 olive harvest and tasting the results of our harvest. Hope you enjoy.
So it's 20 to 7 and it is Friday the 11th of October and we're up because we're on our second day of olive harvest.
Yeah, so here we are, a bit bleary-eyed, not as bleary-eyed as yesterday. First day, olive harvesting is not glamorous. It's a really early start, it's a really long day, and I get achy muscles.
Not when you do it manually.
And yeah, for us, it's really hard work.
We don't have a tractor.
But yesterday we worked really hard, and it was so depressing because the Xylella has affected all the Cellina trees, there's no doubt about it. And we're getting less off each tree, and the trees are really quite a long way apart. So most of the time, Pete reckons, was spent trudging the equipment from tree to tree for very little gain, really. 4.5 crates that Pete ended up going down to Aldo with. Because this year, Aldo's operating on a slot-only basis, because we don't know whether it's because of the Xylella affecting everyone, but he's not open all day. You have to let him know when you're going to pitch up. And if we meet our 200 kilogram minimum today, then our oils will get processed. So over to you, Mr. L. What else?
What else?
What else?
Working from 7 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night to get 90 kilos of olives, which will make about 14 litres of oil.
Very
It was actually quite, I won't say depressing, but...
We're going to try and make it up today, aren't we, with
Yeah.
Lacinos? Lacinos are bigger this year, so we're hoping
Yeah,
that the volume will make up for it.
The Lacinos are in a small orchard, they're closer together, and they're not as affected by Xylella. So we're hoping that actually we can do sort of 8 or 9 crates. Each crate's about 20 kilos. So if we can do 8 crates, 160 kilos plus the 90s, 250. And if we can get a 10 to 15% yield out of it, we might get 30 odd litres of oil. But last night, poor old Sally.
I was pooped.
She was pooped.
I was pooped before I even woke up yesterday. I was pooped. But yeah, really
lots of
pooped.
aches and pains.
I think I was snoring happily by 10 p.m.
Yeah, because we're obviously doing it all manually again. So
On our own this year.
yeah,
No friends to help us this year, but as Alison said, probably just as well they hadn't booked flights because they'd have been 2 weeks too late.
Yeah. So here we are.
That's the other problem.
Billy no mates in Italy.
Larry's.
Beasting ourselves on the land for a little game.
We'll walk you down the land in a bit. So we're down at the bottom of the land. It's 25 to 8 and this is going to be us blitzing this orchard now. This little piece of paper that I've got in my pocket somewhere that we spent a while putting together. It's like a treasure map. It's so old and crumpled now, sweaty. That is of no use to us because we don't need it. We're blitzing all the trees, and because it's a Saturday there might be gunshots because in this part of Italy at least the hunters are allowed to shoot 36 different varieties of small birds on Saturdays and Wednesdays. And so we've put some signs up around the land because people sort of got used to the place being abandoned for 12 years. And they do have a habit of just turning up with their rifles and giving us the fright of our lives. So we've put notices up. Hopefully that'll work. I'll quickly explain the reason why I use the hand rake and Pete uses the shaker. Not only because the shaker cost us about €1,000, the battery powered one, but we've this is quite direct and it can be really targeted at where to get the olives down from. So there's a technique with pulling them down. Obviously you get them all off one string, whereas that is quite a scattergun, and that's why we have to put the nets too wide quite often, because the higher up you go, the wider they will fly. Just a very quick update. Pete's just taken the trolley down the end of the land just now. So we went out at 7:30 this morning, and we had only picked 3/4 of a crate, one crate, by 10:30. Really depressing. And we thought the Licino trees would make up the volume that the yesterday's Cellina di Nardos didn't. But no, we were wrong. So at our coffee break, we both sat there rather glumly and said, right, we're going to have to pick all of the olives, because if we just stuck with the Licinos, then that wouldn't make up the weight, the minimum weight of 200 kilos that you need to process the oil. So we may as well just do every single olive tree. It will stretch us into tomorrow, so it'll be a 3-day instead of a 2-day harvest. But we'll speak to Aldo tonight when we drop the olives off, and hopefully we can eke it out so that we press everything in one go rather than doing 2 separate harvests. So we are pushing on. We nearly finished the North Orchard, and I should go and join Pete now. I'm ready. So, do you want to tell us what we're doing, Pete?
Yeah, these olives, the Pisciolinas, are a bit too big, or a lot of them are a bit too big for the tray. So it gets to a point when the big ones won't go through. So then we have to manually sort them and pull them out of the chop tray. So I feel like those women in Scotland that used to sort of gut fish in the factories.
Nothing like.
It is.
Nowhere near as smelly.
It is.
Oh.
Well, it's not smelly, but it feels like I'm on a production line gutting fish.
But what a second. So, yesterday it took us 3 hours to fill 2/3 of a trug. Today, a crate, which is 20 kilos of olives. Today it's not even 8:30 and we've almost filled a whole crate. So if we carry on like this, we might even have 8 crates today. It makes up for the last 2 days, which have been quite disappointing olive-wise.
And painful.
However, last year we only did the small orchards and we were able to do monovariety because there were enough of each olive for the minimum of 200 kilos. So if you take 6 days last year, it's 3 days this year, so about half the amount of olives this year. As long as we got enough olive oil to keep us through the year, we'll be happy. Here he comes. How many crates, Pete?
10.
On our last day, 10 crates and a bit of a trug. Isn't that right? Is that the most we've ever picked in one day?
And look at the size of that.
Yeah, some of them are like small golf balls.
That is
Yeah.
huge.
Absolutely massive.
4 times the size of last year's.
So it's 10 to 6 now, and we've got to get these down to the olive press before Aldo gets stroppy with us. And hopefully that will get pressed with all the other olives that we've dropped off over the last 2 days. So 3rd and final day, finished. Woo woo!
Living the dream.
Quest'olio?
Quest'olio è 50% pisciolino, 20%
Lecino.
Ah, ok.
20%
È profumato come olio.
Sì, e 10%
Ciao.
I don't think it's going to be a super punchy oil, but we'll soon find out.
Let's get in there. Oh, look.
It's very green.
It's very green.
Very green.
I've got a whole teaspoon here. Whoa! Whoa! Oh!
Have you got a different teaspoon to me?
Are you joking? Have another one. And we got such different tastes, it's untrue. Oh my God, my throat's on fire.
Really?
Go!
All right, from my perspective, having just taken one, but from the lady's perspective, I found it. The oil is thicker than the Picciolino, which was our batch 6 oil last year. So the viscosity is quite a bit thicker. So that's probably from the Lacino and the Coratina.
It's gluteny.
Yeah. So it's not a light oil.
No, it's big globulys.
And it's got a real background taste. I'm not quite sure.
Background taste.
Well, I'm not quite sure where you got yours.
Fill your spoon properly.
I had a full spoon. It's lovely.
Yes, it is lovely. It is. So we thought tribulations.
Sorry.
We're moving on.
Well, we haven't finished
people
the tasting
don't lose
yet.
interest. Yeah, but we've done the tasting.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
That has got a kick from the Cellina di Nardo with
thank
pepper.
you. It's got a kick.
Well, it's got a kick with the pepper and the Lacino, and it's got a real sort of peppery, warming sensation as it goes down, but smooth.
It's different to all the other 6 oils that we've had.
Incredibly smooth. I think that's the Picciolina,
Yeah.
which gives it the smoothness.
But it is thicker.
But it's thicker
thickness,
because
yeah.
50% of it is from the other olives. And because the Lacino and the Cellina di Nardo are
Really
strong,
oil. Yeah.
30% of that oil is from really strong, punchy oil.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got that. You've got a real nice oil,
Yes.
but with a bit of kick at the end of it. And I'm not quite sure what you had.
Well, I thought it was really strong, but we've got different. We've got very different tastes.
It's a warming oil. But it's not. I like it.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's delicious. So comments on that, sir?
Well, it's interesting. Different parts. As you're taking different parts of the oil itself.
Yes. There's not a lot left.
No, as you're taking different parts of the oil, it tastes slightly different in different parts.
Oh. So it hasn't settled, in other words.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it blends, but
I don't think you can see it. It's not see-through.
no.
It's quite, it is a thicker oil, and it's got some
Real depth of colour.
Yeah, you can't, it's not clear.
No, it's real depth of colour. That's probably because it was all first press green olives. I think that within the oil itself, you get different tastes within it. Oh, man up! No.
0.2% means that is packed full of polyphenols and goodness. So I'm quite happy to use this in everything in the kitchen for the next 12 months until we get our next harvest.
Wow. It is. I'm sure. As you move the oil around, some bits of the oil are not quite as punchy as other bits of the oil. Then you obviously get it's almost like a current within the oil.
Yes.
So you've got these punchy currents within the oil that if you get the punchy bit, it's quite punchy. If you don't get the quite so punchy bit, it's tasty and punchy, but hasn't got the. I'm sure that's it because the last couple of bits that I had were like.
Yes.
Lovely though. We've got slightly different tastes. I like the stronger, punchy oils.
So that's the end of our Olive Harvest 2024, although there are about 6-7 trees still to do and some of the Cellina di Nardos. We're not going to hit the 200 kilogram weight on those, so we're probably going to sell the olives to the press and get some money for it instead. So we hope you've enjoyed the episode all about it, and if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. We'd love it if you subscribed, and if you'd like to comment, we usually respond within 24 hours. Thank you and goodbye.